Michael Carter had learned that being a single father meant becoming many things at once. In Columbus, Ohio, he worked long hours, packed his 8-year-old daughter Emily's lunch, paid their bills, and still found time to help Mrs. Eleanor Brooks, his elderly neighbor, who lived alone across the street. Every morning before work, Michael checked on Eleanor. He shoveled snow from her driveway during winter, carried groceries upstairs, fixed her broken porch light, and sometimes simply sat beside her while she talked about her late husband. Michael never expected money. Helping Eleanor reminded him that kindness mattered. His daughter Emily loved Eleanor too. She often crossed the street after school with drawings, cookies, or little notes. Eleanor always smiled when Emily arrived. Their friendship became part of the neighborhood's quiet rhythm, until one Friday afternoon. Michael's life suddenly changed when his employer called him into the office. Michael worked for a rapidly growing technology company called Sterling Innovations. He had spent 6 years there, starting as a junior maintenance coordinator, and eventually becoming a respected operations supervisor. His performance reviews had always been excellent, but that afternoon the CEO, Victoria Sterling, summoned him. Victoria was known throughout the company as brilliant, demanding, and almost impossible to impress. She entered the conference room carrying a folder and barely looked at Michael. Then she told him his position was being eliminated immediately because of organizational restructuring. Michael stared at her, stunned by the sudden decision. "But my department just received an excellent performance report," Michael said quietly. "I was also promised consideration for the regional operations position." Victoria closed the folder. "Things change, Mr. Carter. I'm sorry." Her voice sounded rehearsed, almost emotionless. Michael understood there was nothing left to argue. He packed his belongings into a cardboard box and walked through the office while former coworkers watched silently. He worried about Emily, the mortgage, groceries, and Eleanor's medication. That evening, he told Emily he had lost his job, expecting tears. Instead, she hugged him tightly and whispered, "We'll be okay, Dad." The next morning, Michael continued helping Eleanor as if nothing had happened. He fixed her kitchen cabinet, carried her trash outside, and drove her to the pharmacy. Eleanor noticed his tired expression and asked what was wrong. Michael finally admitted that he had been fired and did not know what came next. Eleanor listened without interrupting. Then she surprised him by saying, "Michael, you have something money cannot buy. People trust you." Michael smiled sadly. "Trust doesn't pay the mortgage." Eleanor shook her head. "Sometimes the right person opens the right door when you least expect it." 2 days later, Eleanor asked Michael to help her move an old wooden table from the basement. While they struggled with it, Eleanor suddenly said she needed to make an important phone call. Michael thought nothing of it. He returned home, helped Emily with homework, and spent the evening searching for jobs. Meanwhile, Eleanor called someone she had not spoken to in years. Her voice became serious as she explained everything about Michael, the way he helped her, the way he cared for Emily, and how he had recently been dismissed from Sterling Innovations. The person listening asked one question. "Are you certain about him?" "I have never been more certain about anyone," Eleanor replied. The following morning, Michael heard a knock on his door. He expected a delivery driver, but when he opened it, he froze. Standing on his porch was Victoria Sterling, the CEO who had fired him. She wore a simple coat and held no business folder. Michael could hardly believe what he was seeing. "Miss Sterling?" he asked. Victoria looked uncomfortable. "May I come inside?" Michael stepped aside. Emily watched curiously from the living room. Victoria entered and looked around the modest house. Then she noticed a framed photograph of Michael, Emily, and Eleanor standing together at a neighborhood picnic. Victoria stared at the picture for several seconds before quietly saying, "I know Eleanor Brooks." Michael's expression changed. "How?" Victoria took a breath. "She is my grandmother." Michael suddenly understood why Eleanor had been so mysterious about her past. Victoria explained that Eleanor had deliberately kept her family connections private. Victoria continued, "My grandmother told me what you've done for her. She told me you never asked who she was, what she owned, or whether she could help you. You simply helped because she needed someone." Michael remained silent, unsure where the conversation was going. Then Victoria apologized. She admitted that Michael's firing had been based on incomplete information supplied by another executive who wanted his position. She had accepted the recommendation without investigating properly. After Eleanor confronted her, Victoria reviewed the records and discovered Michael had actually prevented several costly operational failures. "I made a terrible mistake," Victoria said, "and I came here because I want to correct it." She offered Michael his old position back, but with a promotion to Regional Operations Director, a significant salary increase, and authority over a new expansion project. Michael stared at the offer, overwhelmed. He did not accept immediately. Instead, he asked, "Why should I trust you?" Victoria nodded, accepting the question. "You shouldn't, not yet. I'm asking for the chance to earn it." Michael looked toward Emily, then remembered every difficult night after losing his job. Finally, he accepted the opportunity. Months later, Michael's life looked completely different. He had a better position, financial stability, and more time with Emily because his new schedule was flexible. Eleanor remained their beloved neighbor, but their relationship had changed. Michael no longer saw her simply as an elderly woman needing help. He understood that she had become family. Victoria also changed. She began visiting Eleanor more often and slowly developed a genuine friendship with Michael. She admitted that the experience had taught her something leadership courses never had. People reveal their character when nobody important is watching. One Saturday morning, Michael found Eleanor sitting on her porch with Emily. The elderly woman smiled and said, "See? I told you the right door would open." Michael laughed. "You definitely knew something I didn't." Eleanor winked. "Sometimes kindness takes longer to return, but it rarely disappears." Michael looked across the street at his old life, then back at his daughter. Losing his job had once felt like the worst thing that could happen. Instead, it became the beginning of something better. He had learned that kindness was never wasted, even when nobody seemed to notice. And from that day forward, whenever someone asked Michael how he managed to rebuild his life after being fired, he never mentioned the promotion, the salary, or the CEO. He simply smiled and said, "I helped someone who needed me. Somehow, when I needed help, someone opened a door."